This is Rocket Assembly Part 2. In Rocket Assembly Part 1, we assembled the body and the nose cone together, and so now we need to add the 3 tail fins. So I've got my fin file open here. You'll notice that since the last video, I've fancied up my fins a little bit, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tile the files, and then I'm going to drag the tail fin into the assembly. And I don't need to use the tail fin anymore, so I'm going to maximize the assembly view, and then to begin with, I'm just going to move the tail fin back a bit, and I'm going to rotate it just to get it close to what we want. Sometimes it helps to go to other views. If I look at it here, I can see that I'm very close. And then if I go to one of the side views, rotate it around, and we've got it close enough for now. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get it so that this face here is parallel to the axis of the cylinder. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the plane. So if I just go through these planes here, I'll find one. That one is really what I want to align that surface with. So I'm going to click on the right plane. I'm going to go to Mate, and actually I want it to go to with this surface here. So I'm going to click on this surface, and I'm going to, it's going to be coincident, so I'm going to preview that. If I look at it from the back again, now this is straight, so that's achieved what I want. So I'm going to accept the mate. Then I'm not going to use that mate anymore, so I'm going to right click and delete it. It will still keep its position, which is what I want. So now what I want to try to do is to align this edge with the axis of this cylinder. So the best thing to do then is to insert some reference geometry. If I go to Insert and then Reference Geometry and click on Axis, I've got different choices here. I'm going to use a cylindrical axis because I want the axis through this cone. Click on this one and select the cone, and then I can say OK, and now I've got this axis in here that I'm going to be able to make use of. So right now I've got that axis selected, so I can go to the mate, and I'm going to now mate this edge with that axis. And I'm going to do a preview, look at it from the back again, and now I've got the tail fin starting to get to the position that I want. What I do need to do is I need to shift it over half of the thickness of the tail fin. The tail fin, I believe, was 1/8 of an inch, so I need to shift it to the left 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to accept that mate. Again, I'm not going to use that mate again, so I'm going to delete it. Otherwise, it's going to pin it in place and I won't be able to move it. And now I'm going to use the move command. I'll click on it here. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can go about getting this fin into place, and you should try to give some thought to it and see how you would go about doing it. This is one method, but there's many different approaches that you could use. So I'm going to move it by delta XYZ, and down here it shows me my positive XYZ directions. So moving to the left would be a positive X currently, so I'm going to type in 1/16. It's 1/16 of an inch that I need to move it, and then don't forget to hit apply. Now that's been that translation has been applied. So when we move something, it's called a translation. And now what I want to do is I'm going to use a tangential mate between the surface of the body and the underside of the fin. But to do that, if I do it in its current position, it might slide up or it might slide down. So what I want to do is to begin with is, just to make life a little easier, I'm going to move my tail fin up a bit. So I'm going to move it up, let's say, 1/2 inch. I'm not really all that concerned about exactly how far I'm going to move it. I'm going to apply it, and that's going to put it up closer to the top, so I know when I do my tangential mate, it's going to slide up. So I'm going to accept that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that underside surface, and then I'm going to do a mate, and then I'm going to click on, sorry, it's actually the cone that I want to, or the cylinder that I want to use. So now I can do that and preview it. Now if I look at it from the back, now I've got it in the right position. All I need to do now is to slide it back. So I'm going to, well, actually I can use this paper clip or thumbtack to make it so that when I select a mate, I still stay in here. So I've done that mate, it's there, but now I've got the ability to do another mate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and see if I select this surface here, and I really want to use the bottom edge. This one is curved, so I need to use the bottom edge. So anything else will not be able to go to this surface. So now I want it to be coincident. I'm going to preview. Now it slides back. Now if I take a look at it, I've got it looking pretty good. So I've got one tail fin set up, so I can accept my mates there. Now what I need to do is to get two more tail fins in. And the best way to do that is to use a circular array, or in SolidWorks those are called patterns. So what we're going to do now is go to, I can't see that axis anymore, and I do want to use it this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to View, and at any time you can turn on the view of axes. So now it'll show me all the axes. And also I could turn on planes, but that's going to put in some things that are really just going to make it harder to see around the drawing just at the moment. So I'm going to turn back off planes, and now we will go and do our circular pattern. Okay, so I'm going to go up to Insert. I'm going to go to Component Pattern, and I want to define my own pattern, so it's local. And then I want a circular pattern, in this case, not linear. And then we can do Next. And then my seed component is the original object that I want to array. And then along the edge, I'm going to use the axis. And then I need to put in 3 of these, and I want them to go around the total 360 degrees. So 360 divided by 3 is 120 degrees. So I'm going to put in 120, and then I want 3 because it includes the original. So then I can say Finish, and now I've got all of my tail fins in, and my assembly is looking good. Notice here that it's put in a local pattern, and if I click on one of these, then that's where it shows up, and within that local pattern are my 2 fins, right? And whereas my original fin in the tree is up in here, and I've got my axes, and I think that's about all that we need to cover for the rocket assembly part 2. So I'm going to File, Save As, and make sure that I've got this saved. Save it, and that's it for rocket assembly part 2.